on Sway Show, so I best to work on my one-liners. Still pray for that skyline. Boys, lift the shots at those one-timers that I just want to see hands in the air, my lord. Never thought rapping would keep us employed. Feeling like Pacquiao fighting with Floyd.
What up, everybody who talks boxing, comments about boxing, and makes boxing videos? What I really want to talk about today is Canelo. Now, other than the fact that I made a video about Canelo talking trash about Triple G, I haven't really talked much about Canelo for, a good while. It's been, after he vacated, I said my piece on it and moved on with my life and really haven't talked about Canelo much except for that one video. And just a little while ago, I was listening to a video on Shady Slim's channel where he was talking with the Fact King, and I believe it was Brian the Barber, aka Real Talk. I'm not 100% sure, but I think that's who was the other individual on that video. And they were just talking about Triple G versus Kell Brook, and they got to talking about Canelo for a little bit. Now, as far as my history of Canelo, when I first heard about Canelo, I was very excited for him. I was instantly a fan. I instantly liked him. And, it was before the Floyd Mayweather fight. And I even thought to myself, that would be awesome if he could fight Floyd Mayweather. So I want to say maybe a year and a half later, the fight actually got made. And, I was hoping he would beat Floyd, and he didn't. But I was still a fan of his, even though he lost to Floyd Mayweather. I'm not one of these fans who just tosses a fighter aside just because they lost the fight. That's something that a lot of fans need to adopt. I'm not really about dictating how people look at a sport, but I really do think that mentality hurts the sport more than anything else. But anyways, that's the topic for another video. But back to Canelo. So when I started getting involved in YouTube, I was actually still a Canelo fan. I even did a video where I said that he was being done wrong by Cotto by, taking as much of the purse as he was. I felt it was very unfair to Canelo, and I feel that Canelo was just, accepting it as the cost to do business, because he knew once he got that belt, it was going to give him leverage. So, and I feel I was right, but during this time, because I'm no longer a Canelo fan, just because of the way he has acted and the way that he has led the fans on, telling them that he's ready for the Triple G fight and that, he'll fight him and all this other stuff. And then vacating, stringing us along and then not following through with what he told us he was going to do. I decided, just screw this guy. He doesn't care about the fans. That's the way that I feel. If you're a Canelo fan, it's nothing against you. If, you still riding with him, there's nothing wrong with that. But me personally, I cannot ride with a fighter that, especially when all their fights are on pay-per-view. Why am I going to pay money? Why am I going to put money into this guy's pockets when he doesn't give a damn what I want? So, but anyways, I always used to wonder why people did not like Canelo. While, this was while I was a Canelo fan, of course. always wondered, why do people not like Canelo? Like, why does it seem like there's people who hate on him? Because I used to be very involved in a Google Plus community called Unbiased Sports, and there's nothing wrong with the community. It's just for whatever reason, I really just haven't been getting on Google Plus as much for a good while. But I still feel that it's a good community. You know, maybe I'll get involved again, but that, once again, it's a topic that's not really for this video. But while I was involved in that community, there were a few people there that just seemed like they could not stand Canelo. And you know me, I don't try to convince people to like a fighter just because I like them. I was just curious, and I would ask, why all this hate toward Canelo, and they would tell me different things that I really, for whatever reason, couldn't wrap my head around. And when I was listening to Shady Slim's video, where he was, like I said, talking with Brian the Barber, and who I'm assuming is Brian the Barber, and the Fact King, when they were talking about Canelo, they started talking about how the scorecard for, I believe it was Canelo Trout was the fight they were talking about, were way off. Like, if you felt that Canelo, basically what they were saying is, if you felt that Canelo won, that's fine, but the cards were a lot wider than they should have been. The fight was closer than what the cards were suggesting. Now, me personally, I'm not the type of person who harps on that kind of thing. If they won the fight, they won the fight. I really and honestly don't care how big the gap is on the cards, because it's not really going to make a difference when it comes to the record. A L is a L and a W is a W. That's the way that I see it. However, it does kind of give you a good gauge as to what could be going on. And this isn't the only fight that this has happened with, where people have questioned the gap in Canelo's scorecards. Same thing with when he fought Canelo. Same thing as when he fought Cotto. When he fought Cotto, one of the things that Cotto was upset about is how wide the scorecards were. And I've heard a lot of other people say, yeah, it was closer than what it looked like, than what they scored it. And I really didn't pay it no mind, because like I said, I'm not interested in how wide the cards are. A L is a L and a W is a W. But in the case of Canelo, I think we have to kind of take the scorecards in consideration, not to see how wide they are, but to see how accurate they are. Because it seems to me that, you can't help but to come up with a conspiracy theory that these judges are being paid off. Because consistently, it seems like the scorecards are wrong. Sorry, it was my alarm. But it seems like they're wrong. And they're either wrong in the sense where it's just too wide, or they're wrong where he even like for instance, even the Canelo Khan fight, a lot of people feel that rounds that were given to Canelo really should have went to Amir Khan. And I feel that way. Now, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. That's why I didn't really talk about it, because the fight ended in a knockout. So I don't really see the reason in even discussing the scorecard, except for this reason, which is Canelo seems to be getting the special treatment. Now, if I'm able to make the time, I think I'm going to watch some more of Canelo's fights, score them and see what the scores came out to with the judges. Because so far, I'm seeing a trend where he appears to be getting special treatment. He appears to be getting these lopsided scorecards to, not only ensure that he wins, but, for those of you who do pay attention to how wide the gaps are, because I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I'm just saying I'm not interested in that kind of information. But it could be boosting his, trying to push him off as something better than what he really is. But that being said, if I do that, I'll make a separate video about what I found, what I see to be trends. But one thing is for sure, I no longer have any questions as to why people don't like Canelo Alvarez. Because even without going through and watching some fights and checking out the scorecards, I can already, there's already a couple fights here that it's like, okay, well, maybe those, everybody is saying the same thing. Those scorecards are way too, the gap is way too big. The fight is a lot closer than what those scorecards are telling us it was. And aside from, the special weight class, aside from the diva demands, that alone, I could see why people wouldn't like him. But anyways, y'all tell me what y'all think. To all my subscribers, anybody who watches my videos, or if you just so happen to stumble upon this video, I hope you have a wonderful and blessed day. Peace.
Be quiet and watch what you hollering. Yeah, my fans will eat you alive. Trolls get off on my page. My bars fly over their heads. I wrote that line on the plane. You won't see me in